Ghana. Information about the country. History. Ghana is named after the ancient kingdom of Ghana, which once occupied the territories now covered by the present-day Mauritania, Senegal, and western Mali. Its origins are thought to date back to a period between the 4th century and 7th centuries AD. Until the 11th century, Ghana controlled the trans-Saharan gold, copper, and salt trade, and as such became both rich and powerful. The region was divided into several independent states in 12th century. As Akan peoples began to arrive, the most well-known and powerful being the Ashanti. Portuguese seafarers discovered the West African coast in 1471, where they experienced the craftsmen, for example, sculptors, goldsmiths, and weavers. Over the course of the following 200 years, gold deposits attracted the British, the Dutch, the Swedes, the Danes, as well as the Germans as the new Gold Coast. The castles and forts along the coastline date from this period. They also served the marketplaces for goods and slaves. Following the discovery of America in 1492, strong slave workers were needed to the new colonies. By the time the slave trade was banned by the British in 1807, much of West Africa had been stripped of its human resources. The first part of the 19th century was marked by strong resistance to British rule, and as a result, the British and the Ashanti from central Ghana were constantly at war. Very much at war. The British finally succeeded in taking control of the region and proclaimed the Gold Coast a crown colony in 1850. In 1919, after the First World War had come to an end, the western part of Togo, which was then a German colony, was annexed to the Gold Coast. In a referendum in 1956, the population voted to remain a part of the Crown Colony. The establishment of the United Gold Coast Convention in 1947 reflected the desire for independence. The people did not support this move, however, until Kwame Nkrumah founded the Conventional People's Party, which enabled him to mobilize the masses. His slogan was "Self-Government Now." The elections in 1952 and 1954 produced a purely African government. The only European left was the governor, which remained as the Queen sole representative of Ghana. In March 6, 1957, Ghana became the first black African nation to gain independence. The country's first president, that is Nkrumah, proclaimed Ghana a republic in 1960. The former colony called itself Ghana as a reminder of the highly developed ancient civilization of Ghana and as a symbol of its independence and importance. President Nkrumah was considered to be a revolutionary, a socialist, a Pan-African, and yet a charismatic figure who instilled new life into post-war Africa. He instigated the first Conference of African Peoples in Accra in 1958. Nkrumah was deposed by an army military coup in 1966 whilst he was abroad. Every sector of society blamed him for mismanagement of the economy and for dictatorship, having wiped out any opposition. He was exiled in Guinea, where he died in 1972. Ghana's history between 1966 and 1981 was characterized by alternating periods of democracy and military dictatorship. Lieutenant Jeffrey Johnson Rawlings led the last military coup on December 31st in 1981. Since he came to power, Ghana has regained its stability. Inflation, which was running at 120% in 1981, fell to 10% in 1993. Democratic elections were held in November 3, 1992. Rawlings won, this time as a civilian candidate. Politics. Ghana is a presidential republic. The introduction of a multi-party system on January 7, 1993 coincided with the promulgation of the new constitution. The parliament consists of 200 members who are elected for a 4-year term. The head of state is also elected by the people every 4 years, although each head of state can only serve 1 term of office. Ghana has universal suffrage for its adult citizens. Ghana is divided into 10 regions and has 110 administration or administrative districts. It is one of the few African countries which has been able to boast political and economical stability for many years. It is also one of Africa's economic growth regions. People. Ghana's population is estimated at around 16 million and comprises of principal ethnic groupings. The Akan family is the largest, constituting approximately 60% of the entire population, followed by the Mole, Dagnabi, 16%, the Ewe, 13%, and the Ga, Adagme, 8%. Moreover, Ghana also is home to Volta, Fulba, and Hausa people, as well as for some 6,000 Europeans and 150,000 refugees. That is the 150,000 Togans and 15,000 Liberians. By African standards, Ghana is a relatively wealthy country. This manifests itself in better food provision, medical care, and high standards of education. Approximately 50% of the population is under 15 years of age, and as increasing number of young people are moving from rural areas to towns. Education. School attendance has been compulsory since independence was declared in 1957. Ghanaians are entitled to 9 years of school education, which is divided into 6 years of primary school education and 3 years of junior secondary schooling. After this period, the children can start to work, or they attend a senior secondary school for 3 years as a preparation for university studies. Cape Coast, Legon, and Kumasi have universities. 40% of the population is illiterate. Dr. Wilhelm Antonio Amo, 1703 to 1784, was Germany's first African lecturer. He had been sold as a slave to a man who recognized his intelligence and sent him to university in Halle on the Saale. He later lectured philosophy in Wilterberg and Jena. Religion. Ghanaians enjoy freedom of worship, and religion is important to the members of every religious community. Some 60% of the population are Christians, 40% are Catholic, and 20% are Protestant. The latter is again divided into many religious communities, including Presbyterians, Methodists, and the Salvation Army, to name but a few. The Islamic population lives principally in the north of Ghana and accounts for approximately 16% of the entire population. Immigrants from neighboring Muslim countries, that is Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, introduced their faith in Ghana. Despite extensive missionary work, traditional African culture has held its ground in everyday lives of the people. Approximately 1/3 of the population believes in the traditional African religion, which they are particularly proud. The Islamic and Christian creeds are frequently influenced by elements of the animistic rituals. For Ghana, it is possible to be a Christian and nevertheless worship one's ancestors. For instance, a funeral in Ghana may be attended by between 100 and 1,000 singing and dancing guests who will keep a night watch. The following day, the Christian ceremony will take place. In order that the spirit of the dead person does not haunt his own house, the house is painted. This will prevent the spirit from recognizing it. Funerals are generally held on Saturdays with the Akan people, who are cheerful events, since death is considered to be a part of life. Tradition and culture. Unlike women in many other countries, Ghanaian women play an exceptional role in society. By Western standards, they are emancipated. Even before Europeans colonized the Gold Coast, traditional structures granted Ghanaian women the special position in society. The wife and mother is the focal point of the family and always has custody of the children. If a man should die, it is not his own children but the descendants of his next female relatives, for example sister, who will inherit his possessions. That is the matrilineal inheritance. It is perfectly normal for women to work. In fact, women are an important economic factor in Ghana. Ghanaian women never assume their husband's name and retain their close ties to their own families after the marriage. This is not the case with every African people. This may well explain the phrase, "I love my motherland." The German language, on the other hand, refers to one's fatherland. Despite parliamentary democracy, each ethnic group has its own queen or king, that is the Omayene, who is also sometimes called the chief. Their status is laid down in the constitution. Nowadays they have an advisory function. They are also involved in decisions on matters of national politics. The National House of Chiefs meets in Accra, on a region or on a regional level. Such meetings take place in the Regional House of Chiefs. I will continue. Music, song, and dance are important elements of everyday life in Ghana. Celebrations are abundant, and a celebration without these three elements is quite simply unimaginable. It will not be possible to talk of music without mentioning the drums, which were once both a source of inspiration and information for Ghanaians. Nowadays, the drama is still regarded with high esteem and much respect. As well as traditional music, modern so-called high-life music is also very popular. This is a mixture of traditional African rhythm and typical European police and army band music. In other words, with saxophone, trumpet, drums, double bass, etc. Ghanaians believe that their music influenced New World music, as Western Africa slaves took their music to Cuba and Jamaica. Art and crafts have enjoyed a long tradition in Ghana. The Ashanti used gold dust both as their currency and as a commodity. Weights made of brass, copper, bronze, and wood were used to weigh gold and assess its correct value. Royal insignia, drums, fertility dolls, and ancestral chairs were made of wood. The chair is particularly important for Ghanaians as it represents a shelter for the soul. Babies and newlywed women are gifted such a chair. Ghana is also famous for their woven handicrafts. The national dress is made of kente, a material with many colors and complicated patterns. The colors and symbols are symbolic of the mood of the person wearing them. Yellow, for example, represents the existence of God, eternal life, wealth, and human warmth, while white represents pleasure or victory. Green stands for innocence, renewal or vitality. Red or brown are worn on sad occasions, such as for the death of a friend, war, or national catastrophes. Nowadays, black is also associated with these events. As a result of European influence, blue is the color of love. Traditional dress was very much subject to Islamic Arabic influences. For example, the fugu for men. Today, women still wear headscarves, but not to cover themselves. Nowadays, they are worn for decorative purposes. House murals have also enjoyed a long tradition in Ghana and are a woman's responsibility. That is, lines, spots, and symbols are painted on the clay house bricks using earth colors and vegetable dyes. The holy crocodile projects their inhabitants and drives away evil spirits. The python protects newly born babies, and a zigzag pattern represents peace and unity. Unfortunately, this is a dying art form, as paintings on outside walls have to be renewed every year. Town dwellers no longer paint on cement and brick walls. Traditional art is not the only flourishing art form in Ghana. Hairdressers, signs, and painted buses and trucks are still modern. Ornaments, stylized flowers, and phrases painted on vehicles convey messages and brighten up the street. Kanekwe, a Ghanaian carpenter, laid a foundation stone for his international success with a coffin which he made for his uncle, who was a fisherman. This was no ordinary coffin. It was built in the shape of a fishing boat. Soon afterwards, he began to receive other extravagant orders: a Mercedes-Benz coffin for a taxi driver, an onion-shaped coffin for a farmer, and a coffin in the shape of a chicken for the mother of a larger family. His works have been on exhibition in many cities worldwide, such as New York and Akan. As such, they no longer serve their original purpose. We are going to continue. Practical tips. Ghanaians are very friendly, polite, and spontaneous people. They are also lively, witty, and full of humor, and always ready to laugh, not only at others but also at themselves. They are deeply self-conscious and adore tradition. Most ethnic groups in Ghana speak their own language, follow their own culture, and have their own customs and gestures. As such, it is not possible to suggest an all-round recipe for success with Ghanaians. Forms of address and titles. As Ghana was a British colony for many years, most Ghanaians are familiar with the English sir and madam. Ghanaians attach little importance to titles. Married Ghanaians women keep their maiden names. Greeting. Each and every ethnic group has its own form of greeting. As a rule of thumb, however, it is safe to say that Ghanaians like to greet others, whether they know them or not. The handshake is a very polite form of greeting, especially in the cities. Ghanaians like foreigners to shake their hands first and then smile at them. In other words, smiling and make someone's day happy. As in certain other African countries, a greeting may involve many questions. Small talk is part of the parcel of everyday greeting. In fact, anyone who says very little when greeted or when greeting another person is considered to be impolite. Ghanaians greet their guests with a hati akwaba, meaning welcome. Whilst whistling is usually means of attraction to one person's attention. Gestures, etiquette, and taboos. Due to their history, Ghanaians are familiar with most Western habits. Ghana, Seu Akwaba, means welcome to Ghana. A guest is king, and Ghanaians will do their utmost to ensure that their guest feels comfortable. A guest can stay as long as he or she likes. Ghanaians do expect a small farewell gift from their guest. The gift need not be anything too large. A souvenir from one's native country or a small amount of money for the children will be considered appropriate. There is no dress code as such in Ghana, but it is wise to avoid sloppy dress in public buildings. Conservative dress is expected at official and social events as well as for business meetings. This means long trousers and a shirt and a tie for men, also a jacket at official events, and a dress or knee-length skirt and blouse, not sleeveless, for ladies. There are indeed many exotic subjects to snap with one's camera in Ghana. Nevertheless, it is essential to ask a person before taking their photograph. In general, it is prohibited to photograph public buildings. The left hand is considered unclean and should not be used for eating, giving gifts, or greeting people. Children are taught not to look into the eye of an adult to whom they are talking, as this is a sign of disrespect. One should remove one's shoes before entering a Ghanaian's or Ghana's houses. Food and drink. Ghanaians are familiar with the most Western eating and drinking habits. Traditionally, Ghanaians eat with their right hand. It is customary to wash one's hand before eating, and for this purpose, one is handed a bowl with hot water, soap, and a clean towel. Ghanaians do not usually eat breakfast. Instead, a hot meal is eaten around 10 a.m. The following meal times apply to hotels and restaurants. That is, breakfast from 7 until 10 a.m., lunch from 12 noon until 3 p.m., dinner from 7 until 10 p.m. One should not turn down any offer of food and drink, as this will be tantamount to an insult. Sweet foods such as cakes and cream are not popular and not easily to find. Conversation. Ghanaians like to talk about their country, their culture, and their music. They are delighted if foreigners already know a little bit about Ghana. The family, of course, is always a good topic of conversation. Short phrases for everyday situations. English is Ghana's official language and is spoken by every educated Ghanaian. Moreover, one will encounter as many as 75 regional languages and even more dialects. Akan is the most widespread national language in Ghana and is understood by 70% of the population. Good day, Makie or Maachi. Good evening, Maduo or Madio. Good night, Made, Nkie or Madenchi. Goodbye, bye bye yo. How are you? Wohot sen or Wohot sen? I'm fine. Mehoye or me ho ya. Thank you. Meda wase or medo wase. Excuse me. Kafra. Tips from the crew. Ghanaian cuisine is hot and peppery due to the fact that Ghana is home of the pepper plant. Many dishes are served with pepper sauces. Corn, rice, vegetables, and spices are the staple ingredient. Ghana's natural dish is fufu, a sticky paste-like mixture made from cassava roots and plain teeth, or plantain. It is served with soup and various sauces. Peanut soup or nkatakwen is also very popular. This is served with poultry, lamb, or fish seasoned with tomatoes, onions, and pepper. Omotuwe and jollof are rice specialties. Other specialties include kenkey, corn pulp, and smoked fish, yam with palaver sauce, banku corn pulp, and okra soup that is stew. Tiger nut or pudding is the only Western-style dessert in Ghana. It can also be intended as a secret message from the cook to the guest, for it may also be declared of love. So we continue. Restaurants. Restaurants of an international standard can be found on the major hotels. The following restaurants can be recommended. Chez Marie Lou serves Swiss and French dishes. Labida Beach, close to the Trade Fair Park. Ghana apparently has the best Chinese restaurants in all of West Africa. The following is but a small section or selection. That is the Golden Dragon close to the Penta Hotel, Dynasty, Regal, and Chopsticks. Sightseeing. Accra was never founded as a city. It is more of an amalgamation of many villages, fortresses, and traditional points. This explains why the city has no center as such and why the various districts are scattered all in a large area. Accra is an industrial city located on the Atlantic Ocean and has a population of approximately 1.5 million. History has left its mark on Accra, although many of the old colonial buildings are now in a state of ruin. The city also has a multitude of forts which can be visited and admired from outside only. Fort James is one of the most impressive fortresses in the city. It is a reminder of the Portuguese rule in the region and was built in the 16th century. Today, it houses a prison, Fort Crevecoeur, and built by the Dutch 1650. Christiansborg Castle, which was built by the Danes in 1660, later became President Nkrumah's residence. Today, it is the official government building. One should note that this is prohibited to photograph in the castle. Independent Arch is a modern monument in the Independence Square which documents Ghanaians' independence. The National Museum is the place to go to an insight into Ghanaians' history, for instance, Stone Age tools and contemporary art. The museum also has an interesting archaeological and scientific. It is also for scientific exhibitions. Excursions. Ghana is situated on the Atlantic Ocean, sandwiched between the Ivory Coast, Togo, and Burkina Faso. The most important scenic areas include the Gold Coast, roughly 600 kilometers long, much of which cannot be used. However, due to the heavy surf, the Ashanti Highlands and the Savannah regions, the Volta Basin in the north of the country has barely been developed by tourism. Ghana's wildlife cannot be compared with that of other East African countries. Winter in Europe is the best time to visit Ghana and to embark on an excursion within the countries. Akosombo Dam on the Volta River is approximately 150 kilometers from Accra. Construction work was completed in 1966, and since then, the dam has supplied Ghana with its hydroelectric power. A boat trip to the Dodi Islands is also worthwhile. The Aburi Botanical Gardens, that is 30 kilometers north of the capital, are a popular attraction. The gardens were first laid in 1890 by the British as a research station. Kumasi, approximately 400 kilometers from Ghana, the home of the Ashanti, is the cradle of Ghana's cultural heritage and also referred to as the Garden City or God City. That is the Mahia Palace, the home of the Ashanti kings, and the National Culture Center, a worth a visit. Lake Bosom Switi, near Kumasi, is the holy lake of the Ashanti and home to the Gotui. Cape 3 Points is Ghana's most southern point. Some 200 kilometers from Ghana is Cape Coast, the former Gold Coast capital. Cape Coast Castle, built in 1652, was formerly a British slaving post. Nowadays, it houses a museum. Sorry. Elmina Castle, also known as Fort St. George, located 15 kilometers from Cape Coast, was built by the Portuguese in 1482 and was the first European settlement in Black Africa. Today, the former slave region and the auction room are open to visitors. Pagapond, with its sacred crocodiles and more game reserved, are attractions in the north of the country which has not yet been properly developed for tourists. The town of Tamale is usually the starting point for excursions to the North Province. Cultural highlights. Anyone hoping for an insight into Ghanaian culture must participate in a festival, of which there are so many in this so-called land of 1,000 festivals. From the Harvest Festival and initial festivals to funeral services and ancestral commemoration festivals, the traditional rulers of the people are also often present, dressed in their ornate kente finery and adorned with golden jewelry. They accept oaths and they accept oaths or of royalty and even and allegiance. A festival is accompanied by singing, dancing, and music. The Ashanti Harvest Festival is one of the country's most impressive celebrations. The Art Center offers a diverse program of music, dance, folklore, and culture, as well as exhibitions of art. It is the cultural meeting point of the capital city. The Art Center also sells many different souvenir items. Shopping. Popular souvenirs from Ghana include wood carvings or dolls, statues, gold and silver jewelry, music instruments, that is drums, recorders also, pottery, calabash, pots, spoons, and other items are made from the hard shelled fruit of the calabash tree. Material. Shops are open between 8 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. They are closed at the weekends. Makola Market and Keneshi Market are the most impressive in the city. One should not forget to bargain. Public holidays. The following are national holidays, although it is worth remembering that there are also numerous regional holidays and celebrations. January 1st, New Year Day. March 6th, Independence Day or Easter. March 1st, Labor or Took Day. June 4th, National Remembrance Day. July 1st, Republic Day or Christmas. December 31st, Revolution Day.